Never met him.
He's here.
Can I ask, I saw on the Telegram that I was it Aaron that said, "Hey Ryan, 5 a.m. sets." Does that mean he's doing his sets at 5 a.m.?
He did when we were in Vegas. He got up at 5 to get his sets because
mean,
it was
So he's
8.
just sending out the messages at that time and then they'll respond throughout the day.
Well, 5 a.m. in Vegas is 8 a.m. where he lives.
Ah.
And then it was just he got up early enough so then we could hang out and have fun the rest of the day.
Yeah.
Hey, how does this YouTube work? Are you like,
Yeah, I'm live streaming to YouTube unlisted, and I post the replay link in the Telegram group.
oh, okay.
You click on info, I think media or links, and then you can navigate to the replay links. You should have them there every week.
So this streaming on YouTube, can anyone see it?
No, it's unlisted. So
Got it.
But once someone sees it, Rick, can they just forward it? Do you have access to just forward it to someone?
technically, yes, you do. We're working on some things behind the scenes where you won't be able to do that. So.
Because I've wondered about, I know someone in our team does that, and I've always wondered that, but does that mean it can just be sent out?
Yeah,
So-
only people who have the link have access to it. So, meaning the only way that link's getting out is if one of you guys have it and share it.
Yeah.
Right.
Happy Monday. What's up, locker room? Good morning, good morning, good morning. Good to see everybody. I hope you are making some serious headway towards your September goals. You have about a week left. And if you're not on pace, you need to get on pace, right? And that's on you. That's on you. That's great news, right? You know what else is on you? Shifting your momentum. Things can go really, really fast if you're willing to get explosive. And you don't need to be explosive forever, right, Ryan? You got to surge and then sustain. Surge and then sustain. And some of y'all, your fans are doing the most redonkulous crap to try to like lose weight or boost your income, right? And you're out there running around like chickens with your head cut off doing wild, crazy, unsustainable things. And then we don't want to do like the simple, easy things right in front of us, like set 5. Right? Just set your 5, baby. Just set your 5. Okay, I promise you'll be raining money on you about 90 days from now if you just set 5 every single day. So congrats to our doc leaders who are crushing it. If you're not doing your docs, let me ask you a question. How exactly are you going to teach this process, or any process for that matter, to anybody else if it sits in your head? Right? Because they can't get it out of your head, y'all. Your people are not psychologists. They're not analyzing your brainwaves, right? Okay, you got to get it out of your mind and onto a piece of paper so that people can see what's important to you so it can be important to them. And so today we're going to talk about onboarding and what I think is the perfect process to onboard. And so here's what I don't want you to do. I don't want you to throw your onboarding process out the window and say, I'm going to start over and change everything, okay? That's not what I want you to do. What I want you to do is I want you to look at the principles that I'm teaching you today, and I want you to ask yourself, where am I void of these principles in my process, okay? Because the truth is there's a lot of stuff that doesn't really matter, Kelly. Doesn't matter if you do it my way or your way. What matters is that the main things are there, okay? So let's talk about some of the common problems that exist with onboarding. The number one problem I would say that exists for most of you is that it doesn't work very well, right? And what I mean by that is you recruit a lot of people, but they don't do what you want them to do. Okay, so let's be really clear here about what you need a new person to do, okay? And in what order you need them to do it. So I would submit to you that the most important thing you need a new person to do is to get into the field and bring you more new people and clients. That's the number one thing you need a new person to do. Can we all agree upon that? You know, Art had an idea called 3 who get 3 who get 3 who get 3. The key is you got to get the first 3 to get the 3. If it takes you 29 to get 3 who get 3, then your math problem doesn't work quite so well, right? Do that math, right? 29 who get 297, who get 1,746, who get 43,000, who get, right? Like that makes your numbers not so good. Yes or yes, right? So the number one thing we need a new person to do is we need them to get into the field quickly and bring us new agents and clients. That's the number one thing we need them to do. The number two thing we need them to do is we need them to plug into our training infrastructure. The reason is, even if they don't start out fast, if they get plugged into your structure and you have a reasonable culture and reasonable examples of success, eventually they'll start to do more of what you want them to do. If they don't plug into the culture, the odds of them succeeding are zero, right? Or you're going to have to hunt them down all the time and train them every single bit yourself, which is also no fun and not going to work, right? So we need them to come to trainings. And then the third thing we need them to do is we need them to get licensed, right? Because ultimately, if they're bringing us people and they're coming to meetings, but they don't ever get licensed to do it on their own, that is a linear growth. It's always going to require somebody else, right? So we do need them to do those three things. Okay, so does your onboarding consist of giving people any more information than information about those three things? Because if it does, you're over talking. You got diarrhea of the mouth. You're trying to get these people all sorts of stuff they do not need right now. They don't need it. The more things, James, you try to teach people, the fewer people will learn those things. The longer it will take them to learn those things. So we want to be as streamlined as we possibly can be, Jason, so that it works well. Okay, so the number one problem with most people's onboarding is it doesn't work very well. It doesn't work very well because we're teaching them too many things, or we're presenting information in a way that's sort of overwhelming or not easy to digest. That's the number one problem. The number two problem with onboarding is it's largely inconsistent depending on where people come in your organization. If you came in direct to me midway through my business, or you came in 6 levels down from me, you're getting a wildly different orientation experience, right? You're learning different things. It's happening at a different pace, setting with different expectations, people tying you down differently. Okay, we need some uniformity of the first experience in your business. After they join, no matter where or who they join with, that new agent should be having a uniformed experience. Okay, so how do we do that? We do that by having a process that everybody follows. In order for you to have that, you've got to have a process you follow, right? Okay, and then you got to teach it to them. Secondly, it's my belief that your orientation should be done on video and they should be done by you. Okay. And so that way, the very best person, Ryan, in your organization, which is you, the very best at explaining the business, the very best at the nuance of communication, the very best at tying people down is having that interaction with everybody in the organization. So no matter where they come in, immediately they're learning from you. Okay. So it should be done on video. It should be done by you. And that should be something that all of your people are using. I'm going to get to how we do that in a second. Okay. So the number 2 problem is we lack uniformity. The number 3 problem is it's a black hole for time. Right. So how many of you have done an orientation live with somebody who then didn't stick in the business? Okay. How many of you would say the vast majority of the orientations you have done have been with people who did not stick in the business? I'm going to move it even for the goal line further. Not only didn't they stick in the business, Tyler, they did a whopping 0 by 0 ever in their career before they left the business, right? That would be the vast majority of people you spend time with. Why do we want to spend time with people who are at extreme risk of wasting that time? Extreme risk. The numbers say it is likely that those people you're never going to see them again, or if you do, they're never going to do anything again. We don't want to put time into those people if we can avoid it. We want the system to put time into them. We want them to put time into themselves. We don't want us or our people putting time into it. Okay, so those are the main three issues that stop people from onboarding correctly. Number one, it takes all of your time and all of your people's time. Think about it from like my point of view. When I sold the business, the month I sold the business, we recruited 1,500 people for the month. Okay, so let's imagine, Tyler, that half of those people did an orientation and that your orientation was 1 hour long. That would take 750 man hours from your organization that month. 750 man hours. If you did that every month, that would be 9,000 man hours a year going into black holes, essentially, right? Does that make sense? Now, Aaron, that's time that your people could have spent in the field on a money-making opportunity, could have spent in the field bringing on a new agent who wasn't a complete dud, could have spent at home with their kids or their spouse, so they weren't feeling guilt and constantly deciding whether or not they wanted to keep paying the price. Okay, that time would be better used in almost any area of their life rather than putting in the black hole of a new person who's not going to stick. You follow that? Okay. So I like a high-tech, high-touch rhythm that moves quickly. So those are the problems. How do we solve that problem? Okay, what I like to do is I like to give you something to do and you invest the time in doing it. I wanted most of your training to be, the heavy lifting to be done by the process. So high tech and high touch. High tech, high touch. The prospect invests first, you invest second. The prospect puts in an hour, you put in 10 minutes. This is how you leverage, right? This is how you leverage. So Jeremy, I recruit you and I would send you, I'll give you my process exactly here in a minute. You can just steal it if you want. But on your IBA, I'm giving you my orientation video and a couple of other things. I'm saying, I need you to watch this today. Okay, it's about 30 minutes long. Can you do that? So I'm going to tie you down. I'm going to set the expectation, tie you down. Say, great. And then Jeremy, tomorrow we're going to be together for just 10 minutes. What works for you tomorrow for 10 minutes? And Jeremy, what we're going to do in that 10 minutes is I'm just going to go over with you the three main things that I needed you to get from that training orientation and make sure that you're really, really solid on them. Okay? Fantastic. So I've recruited you. I've now given you work to do, and I'm going to meet you tomorrow. When I go to confirm you for tomorrow, Jeremy, you had a chance to watch that video, right? If no, you move that appointment. And I got no 1 out of every 30 times. They all watched the video. How they're sitting on YouTube and TikTok watching videos, y'all. These people are pros at watching videos, right? That's like their spiritual gift, is the gift of video watching. Okay, so we're going to help them, right? We're going to help them by giving it to them on video. And so I'm going to confirm you. And Jeremy, on that 10-minute one-on-one, I'm going to tie you down to 3 things. To coming to trainings, getting in the field, and getting your license. Okay, I'm gonna show you exactly how I do that right now. Tyler, you saw in the video about the importance of getting licensed. You saw that, right? Okay, and we expect our people to be ready to take their test in 7 to 10 days. Yep. And you're going to do that by spending like a half hour to an hour a day on the online class. Okay, so no reason you won't be able to do that, right? Half hour a day or so you could put in. And the great news, Tyler, is you only have to do it once. Okay, and then you're done. You never have to do it again. Okay, so Tyler, I can see how much progress you're making every day, and I'm going to look at that. Okay, so I'm going to know what you're doing. Okay, the other thing I want you to know, Tyler, is 2 things actually. Number one is I want you to schedule your test when you're about 70% through. We're not going to wait till we're all the way done, because sometimes it takes a week to schedule the test, right? So I don't want you cramming for the test and then you can't take it for a week. When do you cram for the test, Tyler? The night before. It doesn't help you to cram for it and wait a week. You're going to forget all that stuff, right? So when you're about 70% through, we're going to set that exam, and then we're going to prepare accordingly. Okay, does that make sense?
Yep.
The thing, Tyler, that I want you to know is if you don't pass, and you'll pass, but if you don't, it's no big deal. You can take the test every 48 hours. Okay, so worst thing that happens, we take a test, we don't pass, they'll tell you where you needed some help. We're going to get back on that thing and take it again in 48 hours. We don't want to forget the things we were good at while we're studying the things we weren't good at. Right? Does that make sense?
Yep.
So Tyler, I'd rather you take the test 5 times in a week and pass on the 6th than pass on the first time 120 days from now. Right? I don't care how many times you got to take it. I care that you pass it and that you pass it fast. You good?
Yep.
Great. Guys, I didn't bring people bananas and cookies to their licensing class, try to trick them into getting licensed. I set expectations about what we wanted them to do, and then I helped them with their self-destruct button, which is I want to schedule the test for 3 years from now when I feel good and ready. And if I fail, you're never going to see me again because I feel like a giant loser. And I'm completely confused and think that that has something to do with how good I'm going to do in the business. So I'm going to lock you in, and I'm going to put a little English on your cue ball so you don't self-destruct when you do something that ain't the best thing. Everybody following that so far, right? Okay. Then I'm going to tie you down to the training. So Aaron, you saw about the trainings we have, Fridays, Sundays, whatever days they are, right? Okay. And so Aaron, I'm going to spend an extra minute with you here because if you were going to mess this up, this would be where you're going to mess it up likely. Okay. So Aaron, if you don't get trained, how many clients are you going to get here?
0.
Okay. How much money will you make from that?
0.
Okay. So you need to be trained. You'd agree, right? And
Yep.
Aaron, pretty quickly, we're going to have like 10, 20, 30 people on your team. Okay. And those people need to be trained too, right? Because if you got 10 guys and they're not trained, how many sales are they going to make, Aaron?
0.
How much money will they make?
0.
How much money will you make from that?
0.
Also 0, right? So we got to train them, Aaron. So we get 2 choices to train them, you and your 10 guys. We can train them each for say 2 hours a week. You saw we have 2 hours a week of training. We can train them one by one by one by one. Now, if we wanted to train 10 people for 2 hours each individually this week, Aaron, we'd spend 20 hours training them. Half of the week. It's a lot of time. Or, Aaron, I can get them to all come to my training. And I can train those 10 people in 2 hours. Now, Aaron, if you had 100 people, how long would it take you to train them?
200
2 hours.
hours. Oh,
Yeah,
oh.
2
I
hours
see.
if they
Yeah.
came to the meeting. And if you had 1,000 people, Aaron, how long would it take you to train them? Also
hours.
2 hours. Okay.
Yeah.
So Aaron, I know you're not a mathematician, but would you rather spend thousands of hours training people or 2?
2.
Okay. If you don't come, your people aren't going to come. Fair enough? Okay. So I need you to put this in your schedule right now for 6 months. We're not going to miss a training for 6 months. Okay. And what we're going to do in 6 months, Aaron, is we're going to reevaluate. Probably what will happen 6 months from now, because you came to the trainings, you're going to be great. And you're going to have a big team. You're going to be making a ton of money and you're going to be helping to run the trainings. That's probably what's going to be happening. Now, on the flip side, Aaron, you might say, this is not for me. I don't really like it. I'm not going to build a team, whatever. 6 months from now, you'll be trained well enough that you can make money at will without ever coming to a training again. Good money on the side, and you just do what you want. Okay. But you got to give yourself that 6 months. Can you commit to that, Aaron?
Yes.
Nothing that's in your schedule that you would feel like would prohibit you from being plugged into that on a regular basis?
I mean, I'm going to I'll change my work schedule. We went to church on Wednesday night, but it makes a lot of sense. So yeah, I'll be there.
Okay. And if they can't, and understand the difference between can't and choosing not to, they have scheduled work or something, we're going to work around that. Okay. Can you come to this one? Great. And then we'll work on a plan to get you out of that one. Okay. Now y'all listen. Okay. Here's the in the field part. So I need you to watch, I'll post my orientation there. I need you to watch our promotion guidelines in the first 30 days. Made a lot of sense for people to go in the field and get trained. It was far easier for them to get promoted and to earn their bonuses in the way that we had it structured. So some of y'all trying to swim some salmon up the stream here, and there's no identifiable reason for your people to work in the first 30 days versus just wait till they get licensed. We didn't want that to be the case. I wanted a reasonably intelligent person to be able to look at our promotion guidelines, Ryan, and be able to say without anybody training them, boy, it looks like it'd be in my best interest to do this in the first 30 days because way easier. than to wait. I wanted them to see that, to think that. Then I didn't have to fight with them all the time. Some of y'all are like dragging recruits up mountains both ways, right? And you're like, why is this so hard? Well, because your system makes it hard. You're trying to like manage your spread, and it's the hardest thing in the world for somebody to get promoted. And you want to become an RVP, you got to be a gazillion by a gazillion, got to be, in running for sainthood and all sorts of other things. And it's like, no, you want it to be easy and fast. The easier somebody thinks it is, the more likely they are to try to do it. Fair enough, right? Right? And that's what we want. We want lots of new people doing a lot quickly. So, Jason, you were able to look at the promotion guidelines, right? Okay, you were able to see how in the first 30 days it was like half as much, sometimes even less than half as much to get promoted. You saw that, right?
Yep.
Okay, so Jason, I know you're not a mathematician. Okay, but would you like to do twice as much to get promoted or half as much to get promoted?
Makes sense to do the half.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Okay, great. So that's pretty easy, right, you all? Would you like to do twice as much or half as much? Half as much. Are you sure? Yes. Okay, great. So in my system, we could go all the way up to division at half the work. They could go even further than that. They had to do the same production, but they didn't have to depend on other people to get licensed, to have securities licenses, blah, blah, blah. So there was still a reason for them to keep going. Because a lot of you, even if you get somebody moving, they stop when your promotion guidelines tell them to stop. You get a runner and they get their 3 and 3, and then they freaking park out like they're on a Yosemite Park tour, and they're setting up camp for the week because there's no reason for them in your system to keep moving. I wanted you to go all the way to senior regional leader. Some of you don't even have senior regional leader. Like, why would we do that? So that they had somewhere next to go. Because if they don't have somewhere next to go, they stop going. Right? Does that make sense? Pretty basic idea. I wanted them to go as far and as fast as they could. Why, Josh? Because most of them ain't going to get licensed. Yes or yes? Do most of your people not get licensed? Because that's what happened to me, and I was pretty good at this, right? Okay, so Chris, if we know statistically they're probably not going to get licensed, why not get them to bring in as many people and as much revenue as we possibly can in the interim? By the way, when you have a big old banked bonus and a team of people, they're probably going to try a few times to get that license, aren't they? Because now they have something to lose. When you're not moving people quickly and building up a big old bonus bank and a big old team of people, you're actually hurting the chances of them getting licensed. Y'all following that? Okay. By the way, when you teach them how to be productive, you don't need to walk around feeling all guilty like you're running through their market, which some of you do. Some of you feel so bad for these people because you're running through their market before they're licensed because you don't have a process to teach them a pipeline and how to be self-sufficient. That first part of the market is nothing compared to what they're going to bring in when you teach them how to be profitable. You understand that, right? Okay. See how this all works together? Some of you be feeling like you're cheating people by running through their markets, and you are if you don't have a process, right? You're just burning through those markets. Okay. So I'm going to lock them down. I'm going to lock them down to that. Okay. I go into a little bit more depth. You can watch the video to see that. So Jason, I've recruited you. I've given you the orientation video. I've asked you to watch it. I've scheduled you for 10 minutes for tomorrow. I'm back with you for 10 minutes tomorrow, and I'm tying you down to those 3 things: getting licensed, coming to meetings, and doing your training. You follow?
Yep.
So when I'm with you for those 10 minutes, Jason, I'm going to send you a step 2. Here's some things I need you to do. And Jason, I'd like to get back together tomorrow with you and Jen. You said your wife's name is Jen, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
And what we're going to do is we're going to look at your life insurance. Jason, you do have some life insurance, right?
Yes. Yep.
Okay, fantastic. So Jason, let me ask you a question. How much are you currently being paid to own that policy?
How much am I being paid? Nothing.
Nothing. And how many promotions have you received for owning that policy, Jason?
0.
Okay, so if you could be paid and promoted for owning that, that would be better than not being paid and not being promoted. Wouldn't you agree?
Absolutely.
Okay, good. So let's get together tomorrow with you and Jen, and let's take a look at it. And if it's better for you, that's like a win-win-win, right? Like you should make a change just if it's better and provides you more value, but if it's better for you and it works towards your promotion and your bonuses, that's like a triple win, right? What
Didn't know it
time
was an
tomorrow
option.
can we do that for 20 minutes?
Let's do 6 p.m.
Okay, fantastic. Okay, that's how you write their own sale, you all. Okay, and they go back to mama at home and they're like, hey, we're going to look at this. We get promoted and paid for owning our own stuff versus she's like, whoa, that sounds stupid. We're all set. And right. Like so many of you, you're like afraid or you don't, it's not even afraid. You just don't have a linker to get to that. Right. So then you're trying to like set up their plan. Look, if I just met you and you're asking to come to my house via Zoom and look at all of my most intimate financial details and put a plan together, there's a good likelihood that I'm going to get spooked and you're never going to hear from me again because my finances are a disaster, right? But if I'm just looking at a product with you that makes sense for me to get promoted and paid, and if it's better, great. If it's not better, I won't ask you to switch. That's an easier pill to swallow, you all, right? You're looking for the shortest path to the place you need to go. And some of y'all, you draw on squiggle lines. You're like Bob Ross. You got a wonderful tree over here you've drawn. And it's like when the apple falls and the wind's just right, then it will be the right time to do their sale because I've taught them and I've educated and they feel so good about me. No, you can you help them? Yes, great. Then you should help them as soon as you can. Does this make sense? Tyler, what did you have to say about that wording?
Said it. I was super happy that I used it. I got it from you because it made like my I met with the direct yesterday, her and her husband, easiest close I've ever had. And I said I was super excited and extremely pissed off I didn't ask you about it sooner. That was what I said.
Right. Guys, this is some nuancy stuff that is part of a process that makes this easier. Guys, how easy would it be for how long do you need to be in this business to be able to ask that question? You have life insurance, don't you, Aaron? Great.
Yeah, 10
How
seconds.
much are you being paid to own that currently?
Right.
Nothing? How many promotions have you gotten for owning it? None? If you could be paid and promoted to own it, that'd be better than not being paid and promoted. Wouldn't you agree? I mean, that's not a hard talk track, y'all. Your people could be here for all of 45 minutes and could probably, if you taught them that, could do that with somebody else. Y'all, right? Do you see that? Okay, great. So I'm back together with Jason and Jen tomorrow. I'm doing their life insurance. I'm closing it up, right? And then I'm saying, Jason, Jen, look, you got your first one out of the way, right? I'm probably going to recruit Jen because that'll lock in the first promotion and the first bonus and its partnership, right? And she could double dip and start getting bonuses and crap too, right? So I'm locking you in. And then I'm saying, guys, look, you're just 4 more. And we're there. See how easy this was? Okay, so guys, here's what I need you to do. We're going to get together tomorrow. And we're going to work on locking in the rest of those promotion and bonus appointments, okay? So I'm going to send you an audio. I need you to listen to this a few times between today and tomorrow. Jason, this is exactly what we're going to say to these people that's going to get us these appointments so we can get you paid and promoted, okay? So see what I'm doing there? Here's why we're doing this. Here's why. I'm not like, we're going to set appointments, Andrew. Fun. They're like, oh God, this sounds like torture. No. Hey, we're going to lock in the rest of your promotions. We only need 4 more. See how easy that was, right? So I'm going to give you this. You listen to it, and I need you to make a list of the top 5 people you think would be good in the business, money-minded, open to opportunity, top 5 people that are married, have kids, that would probably have insurance that we could look at. So we're not going to talk to them yet. I just need you to make that list and listen to this a few times, and we'll get together tomorrow, and I'm going to help you with this, okay? So James, I recruited you on Monday. Tomorrow, I'm with you, locking you in to the 3 things I need you to do, and I'm booking your life app for Tuesday. I'm with you Tuesday, closing your life app, getting you fired up about the next 4 that we're going to do for your promotions, giving you the appointment setting audio, and booking you for Wednesday to set appointments. So I've recruited you on Monday. By Wednesday, you have done your own sale. I probably recruited your spouse, and we are setting appointments. That's the only reason we are together, is to set those appointments. And likely you'll be able to set them because you'll listen to it a couple of times. And if you don't feel comfortable, I'm going to set them. Hey, here's your list, right? Hey, I'm with James. I don't know if James told you he's getting some financial licensing, and this is the same script, except I'm with James. He's getting licensed versus, hey, it's James. I'm getting licensed, right? So a little minor tweak. You follow that, y'all? Watch this. Then I'm in a meeting one-on-one, meeting one-on-one. So on that appointment setting meeting that we're having, I'm going to book you to the next meeting. Jason, it's Wednesday, Friday night. You saw you're good for that, right? Okay. Hey, I need you to send me your top 3 takeaways afterwards by text. Good. Okay. So when Jason texts me Friday night, then I'm going to book him for Sunday or Monday to be back together to set more what? Appointments, right? And when I'm setting appointments with them, we're locking in. Guys, these are virgin markets. Y'all bring in all these resources and then you're like, go get them. And they don't know how to go get them. And they're scared as hell to go get them. And they don't know what, and you could just do this. And because you're not spending all this time on the front end with people wasting your time, you have time on the back end for the people who are staying through the process to get into their markets with them. Do you see this? You're working with the people that want to work with you and are doing stuff, and you're letting videos and audios do the heavy lifting and filter the people out that aren't, right? So then I'm one-on-one setting appointments. I book you to Tuesday's meeting or whatever the next one is. On Tuesday after, you text me, I book you to a one-on-one. 3-4 times of this, Jason's good. He's plugged in. He's got bonus money racked up. He's got promotions. He has a team. He knows what he's doing because I've done this with him 3 or 4 times now. I can do this with somebody else. Y'all see this? Super simple, right? Super simple. You gotta have some of this infrastructure in place, and then you gotta teach it to your people. Do you teach this to everybody? You can. I would teach it to your full-timers first, and then to your serious part-timers. The people who are doing most of the recruiting need to know how to do this, right? And they need to follow your process, and they don't need to be the man who's doing it all on his own. They need to follow that process and use the tools that you create for them. Okay, so if you don't have an orientation on video, you need to get it soon. We'll dump ours out there. You can use mine. I would prefer you just take mine and re-record it so that you're leading your people, not me, okay? But you got to have something there, and your time drain is going to go way down. You're only going to be spending time with people who are moving through your process, right? And you're spending time on purpose. You're not just randomly getting with them to teach them crap. We don't need to teach them crap. We need them to do crap. And we will teach the people who are doing crap later. Does that make sense? Some of y'all like teachaholics, right? You're like, let me spew information at you and spend all of my time so I don't have to be personally active, but I feel like I'm working. And then I can complain about how none of my people do anything and I'm getting run around here. I don't know if that sounds like any of y'all's Primerica Bible experience that you've lived, okay? But we setting some of you free here today. I hope that helps. We'll see you over on the War Room later. Peace.